Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing a brand new album by Insane Clown Posse, the Naught. So, Insane Clown Posse is one of the most interesting kind of hip-hop, horrorcore, comedy, soft rock, whatever you want to call them. They are basically an amalgamation of all that, but it's mainly rap with hip-hop, but kind of with this more eerie aesthetic. So Insane Clown Posse has had one of the most notorious discographies I can think of. There's a lot of aspects to the band or the group that just makes them one of the most just very barely fleshed out projects. Like, there's definitely some decent ideas. I feel like to rag on them entirely and not give them a fair chance is kind of how I view a lot of people doing that for something like Limp Bizkit. I feel like its music definitely has got some subtlety, and there's a reason why it stands out amongst others. And Insane Clown Posse just having this kind of terrible reputation generally had me interested when I just saw they randomly dropped this album out with no promotion or anything, just a random drop of 17 tracks, which is surprising, especially since they kind of dropped shorter releases, some feeling like EPs. But yeah, this is the new entry in their discography. From someone who's not really listened to Insane Clown Posse, as I have listened to them in the past and listened to a couple of their records, not really for me, honestly. Part of it is because I'm not the biggest fan of rap. I don't mind bands doing rap. That's why bands like Limp Bizkit, early Linkin Park, yeah, so on and so forth. That's kind of the stuff I do dig. I think new metal made me have more of an appreciation for rap into harder, heavier sounds. But Insane Clown Posse never really been a band to dabble more into the rock side. They just use a lot of electronic aspects, as well as also giving these hip hop trap beats throughout this record. Honestly, I think for an Insane Clown Posse record, there's a lot more depth into the sounds here. So instead of just kind of getting the abomination that is a lot of stuff, I feel like there's actually some desirable moments. They create some interest, at least in my opinion, and I've never really could say I would personally go into a few of these songs again, as I do think some of them actually do have a lot of fun moments to them. At least the first half of the record has the stronger presence. I remember this one connected with me a lot more. But as we go to like Dead Kelly, Here We Go, Cinnamon Pigtails, it's kind of a very mixed bag at that point. The first few songs do have some interesting moments. Everybody Dies is a very catchy, grim, dark song which has a lot of fun instrumentation. The Naught was kind of annoying, but then you get into the kind of weirdness that it is, and Watch Me is one that stood out to me as well. Like, literally the first bunch of songs were definitely the highlights of the record, and some of the stuff towards the end as well has got some charm to it. But as a consistent record, I don't really think that's the case. I feel this is still basically an attempt at something that's not that good. It's mid, and that's kind of surprising that Insane Clown Posse can do something quite mid, because to me a lot of their stuff is pretty dull. But I know for a fact that this is one of the better releases we had in a while, just by the pure variety, just by some of the ideas we have here shown forth. The lyrics are still very obnoxious. Some of them are some of the worst lyrics ever from the band. I'm not joking. There is just instances where Insane Clown Posse's lyrics, you can only stomach how cheesy and dumb they can get, and yeah, there's a lot of that, unfortunately. But I think the whole instrumentation is what really drives even the album up to higher standards than what we've had beforehand. Yeah, and then there is some genuinely also disappointing songs as well on here. While It Lasts, if you've made it to this track, or at least you just want to check this one out, this one entirely just uses the instrumentals of Toto's Africa. So you have this kind of weird narrative put over that song with their own different story to it, that it just sounds god awful, and I have no idea why they would even do that. Like, they're not even hiding it, they're not even putting anything new to it, it's just the exact same instrumentals from Africa's Toto with that. It's not in an annoying vein as something like Dochi's Anxiety, which just took the whole instrumentation of Goat Yees or Got Yees. Shouldn't have had to cut me off. Somebody that I used to. That's the song, and completely ruined the whole sound with just this anxiety. It's not as bad as that, but it's not really anything good either, because it's just cringe lyrics over an already pre-existing sound. Yeah, the Insane Clown Posse is trying, and I gotta applaud them for that. When an artist is kind of trying to one up what they've already kind of got in their discography, it's kind of nice to see. But to call this a good album, no. To call this an alright album, no. To call this okay, I can't really say that. I think it's a kind of a slightly bad album, which I think is generally a gold standard in their discography. There is some great potential here, but then you also get the abominations, like as I mentioned, While It Lasts. Softy Pillow Man as well was not really one I enjoyed. Neither was I'm Still Breathing. Some of these songs just completely sound terrible, and I'm not making it up, but the instrumentation is what really drives some of the best ideas here. But that's pretty much all I have to say with this one. I'm gonna have to give this a 2 out of 5. Like, there's definitely worse albums here, but this is not really one that I see myself going back into. But I still think it's nice that there is a bunch of songs at the same time that play into Insane Clown Posse's sound that actually kind of got me interested and had some nice catchy moments to it. So surprised at the result of how there is a few songs I do like here, but even then they still are weak. It's just they're enjoyable enough. So yeah, that's my review. Hope you all enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.